As colorful as the Legend of Zelda series is, each game has its own creepy, dark element in it. In today's video, I will be ranking all the mainline Zelda games by how creepy they are as my first Halloween special video. Keep in mind that this is an opinion-based video, and you might disagree with me on some of my choices, so feel free to leave your ranking in the comments down below. And without further ado, let's get started. I'll be ranking the games in different columns since some are really hard to decide upon. The S column will be where all the creepiest Zelda games go, and the D column will be where the least creepiest Zelda games go. Columns A and C will hold all the Zelda games that are sort of in between. Now that we have established a ranking system, let's start looking at each Zelda game by order of release. The Legend of Zelda for the NES was released on February 21st, 1986. It was a game that allowed players to go anywhere they liked, whether they wanted to go through dungeons, in order, or mix it up a bit and go crazy all over Hyrule. Monsters were found in just about any area you explore, making Hyrule dangerous. You also travel through the underworld to collect the fragments of the Triforce of Wisdom Zelda scattered. This game isn't too creepy, but with how dangerous Hyrule is in this game, I think I'm going to put it in the B column. Next up, we have Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. It is the straight-up sequel to Zelda 1986, and the overall story is the same. This game, though, focused on a side-scrolling point of view instead of a top-down. For creepiness level, it would be ranked the same as Zelda 1986, but in Adventure of Link, there are peaceful villages with many people in them, so I believe this game should actually be put in the C column. After The Adventure of Link, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past was released for the Super Nintendo in 1991. This game is what set the formula for future Zelda games like fighting Ganon at the end, going through dungeons one at a time in order, and gathering special items. This game features a corrupted version of the Sacred Realm, the Dark World, which has creepy enemies in it, causing A Link to the Past to be ranked in the B column. Link's Awakening was originally released for the Game Boy, but was remade in 2019 for the Nintendo Switch. When it comes to this adventure, there's really nothing creepy. Every enemy looks super cute, and all the characters are super adorable. So adorable, in fact, that this is the least creepiest Zelda game in the whole series, and it needs to be put, you guessed it, in the D column. Ocarina of Time was the first 3D Zelda game released for the Nintendo 64 in 1998, and gave players a totally new way of playing a Zelda game. This game was revolutionary for the series itself, but beware, for this game holds dark secrets. Ocarina of Time was the game that introduced us to two new creepy enemies, that being the Re-Deads and the Dead Hand. These enemies are found in the creepiest dungeon in a Zelda game, the Shadow Temple. This place served as a torture chamber during the Hyrulean Civil War, and holds many torturing devices. Blood can also be found on the walls of this dungeon, giving off even creepier vibes. I think this Zelda game needs to be ranked in the A column. I don't think it goes in the S column because the overall game is exciting, it's just those small details that make this Zelda game super creepy. Majora's Mask, the sequel to Ocarina of Time. The Zelda game that features one of the darkest adventures in the entire series. The moon is going to destroy the entire world in only 3 days, and Link is stuck having to play the song in time over and over and over again until he is finally prepared to face the Majora's Mask itself. In my opinion, this is the creepiest Zelda game in the entire series, worthy of being placed in, you guessed it, the S column. Moving on to more calm Zelda games, Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons were released at the same time in 2001. These games used the same graphics Link's Awakening did for its first release. If these games ever had a remake, I imagine it would look the same as Link's Awakening remake, or close. Because of this, I'm putting both the Oracle games in the D column alongside Link's Awakening. Next up, we have the Zelda game which takes place in the era when Hyrule was flooded. The Wind Waker used unique cartoony graphics, making all the characters look funny. This is also the first game where you play as Toon Link, the most adorable version of Link besides the Link's Awakening version. Even the Ganondorf in this game doesn't look as menacing as he did in Ocarina of Time, and has the craziest laugh I ever heard. So as you can probably guess, Wind Waker belongs in the D column with the other adorable Zelda games. After Wind Waker, Four Swords was released, which was the first multiplayer Zelda game ever. This game isn't necessarily creepy, but the story of the game involves the demon Vati kidnapping young maidens to marry them, which is weird for a Zelda game, I suppose. So which column does this game belong in? I think I'm gonna put it in the C column. Four Swords Adventures released a few years later and is super similar to its predecessor, but has a different story. I think this Zelda game will also be ranked in the C column just because it has the same level of creepiness Four Swords does. In 2004, the Minish Cap, which is the prequel to Four Swords, was released for the Game Boy Advance. This Zelda game includes a cute race of tiny people called the Minish, and Link's companion is Eslo, who acts as Link's hat in this adventure. With all the adorable things added in this game, I am going to rank the Minish Cap in the D column. Due to many complaints people had about how Wind Waker looked, Nintendo released a more realistic-looking Zelda game, which was named Twilight Princess. The Kingdom of Hyrule is shrouded in dark magic known as the Twilight, turning the peaceful people of Hyrule into nothing but spirits. The descendant of the hero Time goes on a quest to free the land from the Twilight. Throughout his quest, Link encounters creepy bosses like the Deku Baba, which has its eye on its tongue, Blizzetta, a peaceful yeti who is cursed by a shard of Mira Twilight, and Armagoma, a disgusting giant spider, also cursed by a piece of the mirror. Oh, and this Zelda game has the creepiest cutscene ever that gave me nightmares when I played Twilight Princess as an 8-year-old kid. I think you all know how I'm going to rank this game. It's just about as creepy as Majora's Mask is, so Twilight Princess is going to be ranked in the S column. A year after the realistic Twilight Princess came out, Nintendo decided to go back to Toon Link and make Phantom Hourglass. This adventure takes place a few months after Wind Waker, where Link and Tetra, or Zelda, are seeking new land. A creepy ghost ship appears and Tetra decides to board it, but is then taken away. Link falls into the ocean and washes up on the beach of Merkei Island. At the end of the adventure, Link and Tetra wake back on their ship, and realize that the entire quest was a dream that lasted only 10 minutes long. This game isn't really creepy, but it would feel really weird to dream about a dangerous adventure and realize it was a 10-minute dream. So I'll rank this Zelda game in the B column. In 2009, Spirit Tracks was released, and it used the exact same graphics Phantom Hourglass did. This adventure takes place in New Hyrule, and trains become the main transportation in this iteration of the kingdom. This Zelda game isn't as creepy as Phantom Hourglass in my opinion, so I'll rank it in the C column instead of the B column. The next mainline Zelda game changed a bit from the previous ones. Skyward Sword took place so far in the past of Hyrule before the kingdom even came into existence. The Hylians instead live up in the sky, on a giant island called Skyloft. As bright as the game looks though, there is a creepier side to it. The Demon King Demise is sealed in the sacred grounds, and if unleashed, the whole world will end. Demise also is the one who placed the curse at the end of the game, causing the cycle of his reincarnation always threatening the hero and the blood of the goddess Hylia. Because of this, I think Skyward Sword should be placed in the B column, but this can easily be argued about, so let me know what you guys think. After several years, A Link to the Past got another sequel called A Link Between Worlds. This game takes place in the same Hyrule as in A Link to the Past, but this game was 3D style instead of the pixel version. This game isn't overall creepy. The characters are quite adorable, well, except for emo Lower Zelda. But other than that, A Link Between Worlds isn't creepy at all. Because of this, A Link Between Worlds will be ranked in the C column. The same Link from A Link Between Worlds goes on another adventure in Triforce Heroes, where he and two other Links meet in Hytopia. Lady Maud cursed Princess Styla by putting her in ugly tights that wouldn't come off, so the three heroes had to end the curse. This game, in my opinion, isn't creepy at all, and even Lady Maud is the least intimidating final boss. out of all the other final bosses from the previous Zelda games. That's right, Triforce Heroes, you're gonna be put in the D column for not being creepy at all. Now we move on to the last two Zelda games that changed the style of Zelda games. Breath of the Wild was released for the Nintendo Switch in 2017, and was the first Zelda game to be 3D open world. This Hyrule was massive, but lonely, because Hyrule was almost fully annihilated by Calamity Ganon 100 years ago. Link in this adventure had to explore an apocalyptic version of Hyrule, not to mention that Calamity Ganon was going to fully destroy the kingdom if Link didn't make it in time. Due to the loneliness and apocalyptic theme of Breath of the Wild, I think this game should be put in the A column. This year, Tears of the Kingdom was released back in May, and is Breath of the Wild sequel. This game was more based on working together to stop the source of Calamity Ganon, the Demon King Ganondorf. You would think that because this game isn't as lonely as the previous one, it would be ranked as less creepy. Well, that's not the case. Below the surface of Hyrule, there's an entire parallel world known as the Depths, which is the underworld themed, by the way. Also, the Gyptos and Gloomhands are super creepy, so Tears of the Kingdom will also be ranked in the A column. Now that all the mainline Zelda games are ranked, let's go over the entire list. Majora's Mask and Twilight Princess are the two most creepiest Zelda games out of the entire series. A lot of other games are half creepy, half calm, and the most peaceful Zelda games are Link's Awakening, the Oracle games, Wind Waker, Minish Cap, and Triforce Heroes. After this activity, you will notice that there aren't that many creepy Zelda games out there. Would you prefer Zelda games to stay more peaceful, or start being creepy in the future? Let me know in the comments down below. And also, feel free to let me know what your rankings are. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more Zelda videos. Happy Halloween, and I'll see you on our next adventure.